in your writing here, we're going to be talking about the Ark of the Covenant here. You claim it was smuggled out of Israel by the sons of the elders, a plan that was given to Azarias by an angel. And the Keber Nagas says, well, hey, this could not have succeeded. In fact, if it wasn't something that God wanted to do, it, quote, if it hadn't been the will of God. So here we get into the whole concept of divine will. And as a Freemason, like, you have this very important piece of representing God on earth being stolen, but it was all part of God's plan.
Now, I love the giant question mark that you slap at the end of that statement. These things could be unsettling. They could be disturbing. You get into questions of free will versus determinism. There's a lot to ponder here. I will say it certainly wouldn't be the first example of something so unsettling happening. Because if I hearken back to the Old Testament, there's, we could even go into the story of Moses and the Pharaoh. And when Moses was attempting to facilitate the extraction of the Jewish people from Israel, from Egypt, right? Shall we say? God told him, not only instructed him to go to the Pharaoh and tell him what the risks were, what the punishment would be if Pharaoh failed to release the Jews, but he also told Moses, he's going to say no to you. In the scripture, it says that God hardened the Pharaoh's heart so he would say no. Why be a puppet master behind two opposing forces, only to create such drama? But the purpose of the story was so that there would be plagues, so that there would be a liberation story. So if the great architect of the universe sets things in motion, it could certainly be argued that they might be beyond our understanding. So if God decrees that now it is time for the Ark of the Covenant to leave the possession of Solomon and his lineage, then perhaps there is a reason behind this that we are not capable of fathoming. That doesn't necessarily have to comfort us. In fact, it surely doesn't.
It's interesting because I've also heard the expression that, it's, the divine will, the supreme architect of the universe, the grand architect, the great architect, whatever version of it you want to use, that it's already been decided, right? And that doesn't mean that we have to act like a leaf in a stream and just kind of caution, but it also kind of gives us some freedom of understanding, like, hey, everything that's happened in my life, good and bad, and most of the time we tend to focus on the bad stuff, like all of this has been predetermined to shape the experiences that become me. This is how I live my life. So I guess it also kind of provides some of that, but man, the examples that he always used that are always in the Bible, man, those are some very extreme examples, man.
Yeah, it can be unsettling.
Yeah, very bad.